pepper spray.
Do I look pink? Hello internet, this is a feed named Chap and you're watching a pink video. If I have more subscribers and can convince myself that this channel is a good investment, I can buy better lighting and an actual set where I can record my videos professionally. Woo! Ah! Snoopy still has a tag on him. On my channel, we talk about all kinds of stuff, some more serious, some not. When you're watching a pink themed video, you know that we are going to throw caution to the wind and not take ourselves too seriously. I probably won't even edit that fumble out. Thrifting is very big right now. And that could just be that my FYP has a lot of thrifting videos on it because of my own personal algorithm. But if you go to Google Trends, you will see that over the past 5 years, the term thrifting has increased significantly online. So you know a lot of people are making more content about it. But additionally, a lot of articles say that generally people are actually going out and shopping at thrift stores more as well. I watch a lot of thrifting content on TikTok in particular. Actually, not really anywhere else. So what am I going to do if TikTok gets banned? But one thing I have noticed is that, the thrifters that I follow are not from Texas, and that wasn't an intentional choice. I am from Texas, by the way. So basically nobody is from my area. They're from New York or California or the Midwest or even the Pacific Northwest. But not a lot of thrifters from Texas that I'm seeing. I'm gonna sit up straight. I'm not gonna let the scoliosis win. I have a few places I like to go in my area for secondhand treasures, and considering that I'm in a more rural part of the state, so I'm in a part of Texas called the Brazos Valley, which is a several county region surrounding the college towns of Bryan and College Station. It's not a very urban place, so there's not just a ton of shopping options here. In the stores that I do go to for secondhand items, I've noticed some patterns. There's the same stuff in a lot of these places. And I don't just mean there's the same stuff like, oh, there's t-shirts all the time and oh, there's lots of glassware all the time, because that's literally every secondhand store in the United States, probably in the world. No, I mean more specific to, I imagine, Texas or at least the South and small town South. So I have designed a one-of-a-kind Texas thrift bingo game. This is a bingo game that I filled out with particular items and things you will see in some of these stores that is just very specific to smaller town, smaller area Texas thrift stores. I wanted to see if I could get a bingo and find a lot of these items on my bingo list. However, I also wanted to see if I could find any items that would actually surprise me because of how special and cool they are, and basically prove my hypothesis wrong that small town Texas doesn't have a lot of cool stuff in our thrift stores. I love a game that is actually challenging and fun to play, so I'm going to try and play pretty fair and not give myself too much of a benefit of the doubt. I want to make it actually hard to find these items. So for example, if I said I want a yellow colored this item, I can't go with an orange colored of the same item. It needs to be very specific. Also, I tried not to visit any stores that I've been to recently, which I know have the items I listed. So say I mentioned a particular type of stuffed animal, and I was just at a thrift store like last week that had that particular type of stuffed animal. I'm either not going to go to that thrift store, or if I go, I can't count that specific item I was thinking about, if that makes any sense, because I want it to be a real challenge. The term thrift store is really something that I see as a spectrum. Yes, you have full-blooded American thrift stores like Goodwill that you can't argue that they're anything else. But a lot of these stores that are considered thrift stores, when you look them up on Apple Maps or Google Maps or what have you, they're kind of this weird amalgamation of a thrift store and other things. So maybe you'll go in and there will be a true thrifty, corner where there's some old, stinky, dirty stuffed animals and really obscure old cassette tapes, traditional thrift store stuff. But then behind like a locked glass case nearby, there will be some really precious, cool antique, like an electric guitar signed by Gandhi or something. And again, I haven't seen a ton of that stuff, but sometimes people will put things in a locked case that maybe doesn't have to be there because it's not as rare and expensive as you would think, but you know what I'm talking about. Then at the same time, a lot of these places will have, especially if they operate on sort of a booth system where people can rent out spaces to fill with like particular vendors. So a lot of these thrift stores will have a corner full of like fresh new merchandise. Somebody obviously went to Dallas to market and bought a bunch of like goat milk lotion and hand soaps wholesale, and they're selling it as a new unopened freshly made product as opposed to a secondhand item. Basically, I'm saying this so you won't cry and whine about me not doing like authentic thrifting, because who are you to gatekeep it? Who are you to gatekeep thrifting? This is thrifting in Texas. We do it our own way. My predictions are I will fill out the card quickly at the first 3 or 4 places I go to, and I'm sure I'll find some mildly unique and cool things, but I don't think I'm going to find anything that just absolutely blows my mind. Those are my predictions. I follow the creator Sarah Camps on TikTok, and man, she's always finding like Gucci boots that are in the shape of a frog and have sequins on them. I'm not going to find anything like that. If I find anything even touching that, it would be a TJ Maxx Gucci purse with no frog or sequin. Then there's Birdie Wood on TikTok, and she's always finding cool stuff like a Garfield aquarium, which I'm lucky if I can even find a Garfield Pez dispenser. The stuff that American Arbitrage, is that what he's called? I think I wrote it down. Yeah, American Arbitrage, the stuff he finds, again, I'm not going to find some like first edition Barry Bonds baseball card or something. My experience, if anything, I think will be more like tequila and donuts. But the thing is, Devin has more charisma in one lens of her glasses than I do in my entire body. So even if I find the same kind of stuff she finds, I won't be nearly as funny or cute or perfect in every way. Let's go over the bingo squares one by one, shall we? Obscure religious children's VHS, not VeggieTales. VeggieTales is too mainstream for this. Cactus-shaped earrings. They usually look like they belong to an Etsy shop. T-shirt or jersey of socially disgraced athlete. Let's keep celebrating them, y'all. Independently made barbecue rub or sauce. This is not an actual secondhand item. People will just treat these stores like little farmers markets in this case. A vinyl album I confused for John Denver, but it is actually someone else. Monopoly game pieces just sold individually. Now, this I will admit is not really a Texas thing. I think it's just a thrift store thing, but I had to include it. The yearbook of a university that's over 100 miles away from wherever I'm shopping. Precious Moments figurine. No shade to Precious Moments. I actually really love Precious Moments. They're just kind of everywhere. An unpettable store cat. Now, this can be unpettable because the cat does not like to be pet, or it could be unpettable because it's somewhere up high that I cannot reach it. Jewelry is now a mixed media painting. This is something I've seen in the past couple years where someone will make a mixed media art piece, kind of a collage of jewelry and beads. Again, no shade to this. It's actually pretty cool. A kitchen prayer sign. Freemason creepery. I'm talking fezzes. I'm talking patches. I'm talking photo albums. I'm talking aprons. You know, a friend of mine wanted to buy this t-shirt that said Jesus has risen, but it spelled Riz, like with the two Z's, you know, like Riz. And someone made the comment that that was offensive. I would like to argue that anytime you see a cross with like turquoise and zebra stripe and rhinestones, that gives off the exact same energy. Yeah, these are extremely popular in thrift and antique stores all over Texas. Unusable farm tool. That thing has not been cleaned in 40 years. That's right, folks. Someone left their Dutch Bros iced Golden Eagle on top of the antique Victorian hand mirror pile. It's an abandoned fast food drink or coffee. Enough gear for stolen valor. That is, it's not just a military jacket, it's not just a military patch, it is literally every part of any uniform you could ever want, all together in one corner. You would think you're in an army surplus store. An old church or college alumni cookbook. You would think that these recipes would actually be delicious, but a lot of them are pretty questionable. A jar of buttons. Now, I put this disclaimer not at Vintage Circle, which is a shop in Bryan, because I was thinking of this one specific jar of buttons. Beasley, stop it. This one specific jar of buttons at Vintage Circle. Now, that being said, if I were to find a jar of buttons at Vintage Circle that is not that one particular jar of buttons, then I am willing to count that. But I have one on my mind that I can't put in play. That's not antique, that's just Hearth and Hand. Now, let me explain this here. Hearth and Hand, the Magnolia Chip and Joanna Gaines brand sold at Target, the decor. I'm not going to count just anything from Hearth and Hand that I see in a thrift store, because obviously people buy stuff from Target and they donate it to thrift stores. This is specifically going to be an item that is sold in a fashion to where it's staged as an antique. So you'll see a corner of a store that's maybe nicely arranged, and it's supposed to look like something that your grandmother passed down through the generations, a special family decoration. But really, if you take one quick look at it, you realize that it's a cheap plastic Target production. So again, it has to be Hearth and Hand style, but arranged as though it's something much nicer. Emancipated Raggedy Ann or Andy. Often you see Raggedy Ann or Raggedy Andy just all by themselves without their sibling or spouse or whatever the other one's supposed to be. NASCAR Shrine will be a section of a store that is just dedicated entirely to NASCAR memorabilia. So it's not one piece of NASCAR merch. It's a lot of it collected all together. Taxidermy, I think, speaks for itself. This is a taxidermized animal that it's not just a typical stuffed animal that you would put up on your wall. It is actually in a mocking or quote-unquote comedic position that's not super respectful to the animal. Plush carrot, I cannot explain this one. I think I'll be able to show you when we get there. It's some sort of decoration or stuffed toy that has a carrot on it, but not a ceramic or plastic carrot. It is plush, it is fabric, it is soft. This one really could apply to, I imagine, probably all of small town America thrift stores, not just those in Texas, but I wanted to include it. A cartoon forced to celebrate one holiday forever. Let's go. There are a lot of towns in this area to try out, but we're going to stick right now to the big city of Bryan, Texas, population 87,000 people. This day in particular, I was feeling very low energy and existential. First, we're headed to the Vintage Circle. This is a place I actually go to a lot. I really like it. It operates on a booth system. Starting off strong, we have Trailer Park Barbie, and I am so excited I can't actually keep my camera still. Oh, God. All right, here we got the yearbooks. I have never heard of this place in my entire life. I think it's an NPC school. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I am loving these old pictures. Oh my gosh, I would keep this as like a coffee table book. Look at the freaking hairstyles and the outfits. Oh my God, I love this. Ernie's staying up late, obviously, to watch the 2024 Super Bowl. 1990s Troy Aikman was a freak! Okay, so we have crosses with rhinestones, glitter, and animal print, but nothing with both animal print and a crazy color. This particular booth has handmade stuff, like these handmade wallets, and the crosses are handmade. So, I gotta give it to him. This is some good work. So this booth is like an artist booth of handmade stuff, 3D printed items, some resin work. Very interesting. They have Pokemon and some Avatar The Last Airbender stuff. I'm really digging these flower pins. These are pretty cute. I spent more time than I'm willing to admit considering these dragon earrings, these 3D printed ones. They're really cute. I just don't know where I'd wear them, and I feel like they'd be really heavy on my ears as well. We got some frogs with mustaches. The Vintage Circle truly is a mixed bag of artisan goods, antiques, and more thrifty items. This is very clearly a handmade item. I never understand why someone would donate something that is made with so much love and skill. I would treasure this forever if like my friend made this for me. Jesus took the wheel and he repaired it. I'm sure y'all can tell that I did this voiceover like post-production long after I left the store. Just because it absolutely horrifies me to say stuff like this around other people. But this was a joke that I actually made under my breath when I originally filmed this. So you may remember I had a bingo square that said jar of buttons, and in parentheses I had the disclaimer that I couldn't count a jar of buttons I found at the Vintage Circle. And that's because I remembered this one booth with like this setup right here exactly. So now, I am going to allow myself, if I see a jar of buttons somewhere else in the store, I can count them, but I can't count these specific ones I was thinking of. All right, we got another bingo square. It is the rusty, unusable farm tool. Now, I'm sure you're wondering what this is. Obviously, it's some sort of clamp. I'm pretty sure this is used to separate Reese's peanut butter cups if you want to extract the peanut butter from the chocolate. Okay, I love this dress. It's clearly something that Kimmy from Full House would wear. And I love all the little details on it, the little beads and sequins. So if you're a size 6, come get this. Aha! I was not expecting this jar of buttons, and I'm going to count it. I'm not cheating, I promise. This is another artisan booth where someone has repurposed stuff. I really like it. I like the buttons that have been made into rings, and there's little like scarves that have been folded into, I guess, brooches. This is really cute. Which is more offensive, $20 for a jar of buttons or this plate? I'll tell you what though, this lady makes one heck of a felt brooch. I was very much debating getting this for my husband, but then I remembered A, we don't have a VCR player, and B, YouTube exists. More buttons I didn't know existed, this time for $7.49. Alright, I am counting this as another bingo square for Hearth and Hand. This absolutely looks like something from Hearth and Hand at Target, and it's being treated like it's a vintage, unique item. More old farm tools. Maybe you could use these, I don't know. So I've got to admit, I was not expecting the VHS tapes to be as curated. I thought movies would be pretty obscure, but this booth has some good ones. I mean, the Babysitter's Club, that's kind of random, but still. If you're just really feeling nostalgic for Usher's 20th birthday concert, well, here you go. So for this place, a lot of the stuff may not be considered antique necessarily, but you can tell that these vendors at these booths, they put a lot of care into what they select, and how they organize everything. It's not got that chaotic vibe of a thrift store. So sticker piles, I've noticed, are now very popular at these stores. And I was drawn to this one because I love Bluey, and I was going to look for more Bluey stickers. And I saw this one. Obviously a child drew this. I don't know why it's here, but it reminds me of that Logan Paul NFT cartoon. If I had screw you money, I absolutely would have been going home with these. I love these. They are so quirky and fun, and I feel like they fit my personality, but they're like $75 and also not my size. All right, we have another bingo square. This is Raggedy Ann, and she is all by herself without Raggedy Andy. I gotta say, I love Raggedy Ann and Andy. I think they're so warm and cuddly, even though the original Annabelle doll was a Raggedy Ann, and I do think about that sometimes. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Maybe this is an unpopular opinion. I just don't find most dolls to be that creepy. Some of them obviously are. I'll show you some later, I'm sure, but really, I just think she's cute, and I'm sad that she's left here all by herself. I had these roller skates growing up. Did y'all have them too? Oh my gosh. Oh, my heart. Last time I was here, I was very tempted to buy these for my brother-in-law, who's a doctor. And there's absolutely no way he would have liked it. But I love this. Look at the pea. Look at that. That is dedication to detail. So I know I mentioned carrots before, and you probably were like, what the heck is she talking about? I swear, you find carrots at absolutely every thrift store. Now, these are not plush carrots, so I can't count them. We got the cactus earrings. I knew it. I didn't know they'd be here, but I had a good feeling. So, obviously, these are not secondhand. Someone made these, so good for them. But yeah, that's another bingo item, and we're done for the vintage circle. We're on to the next store. I did not buy anything while I was here. Here are the squares we have so far. Just ignore that rogue one trying to break in on the corner. All right, I have caffeine and carbs in me, so refueled, ready to go. Let's try St. Vincent de Paul. This location is in downtown Bryan. I've been here a few times. It's a pretty small place. This is what I was imagining when I said kitchen prayer, but this isn't a kitchen prayer. It has no reference to the kitchen. Okay, so I'm pretty sure when I filmed this segment, this was in the middle of the whole Princess Catherine debacle, where we didn't know where Kate Middleton was. This was before the big cancer announcement. So finding this in an East Asian language, I'm not quite sure which one, was very shocking. I don't know what this movie is. It's a tutorial, a documentary, a fictional, Wattpad adaptation into a feature film. I don't know. Y'all, this DVD, this is about the 10th time I've recorded this segment of the video because I keep not knowing what to say about this. My initial knee-jerk reaction to picking up this movie is one of shock and terror because 100% this gives me vibes of like backrooms internet horror, or even like that the Cecilia Condit video project, possibly in Michigan.
Her poodle one time in a microwave oven to eat it? Yeah, to eat it? Oh no. No, silly.
And so that was my initial impression of this. However, I'm an adult, and I realize that at this point in my life, I've experienced one very tiny brand of religion that I'm used to, my little corner of the world. And who knows how God speaks to or works with people in other places that are not familiar to me. So the presentation is terrifying, but, if the content of this film is something that really speaks to people and reaches them, and this woman is truly having a positive impact on people, who might laugh at that, but it is strange. It's something in Spanish and English, something from Bolivia, I think. This woman is preaching and sharing miracles that happened to her or something. I guess this is like a docu-sermon series or something, but I may have to do a deep dive into this after this video for something in the future, just to see if I can figure out what's going on here and what this is all about. But yeah, weird find. Pathetically enough, that first day, that just took it out of me. So this is a different but very similar day. I went back to Bryan and tried out a few more stores. Now this place is somewhere I've never been, and I have been to Bryan to shop so many times. This place is called Haggler's. It's something I found on Apple Maps and is just kind of out in the country on the very, very edge of town. Never heard of it before today, but let's check it out. I'm loving this springtime weather. Holy fish on a Friday. Look how huge this place is. Okay, so first thing I found was there's an artist who did a bunch of Southwest Conference programs. It looks like they're for the University of Texas UT Games, and I am so freaking obsessed. So these shopping trips always make me think about my dad, because that is just a interest and hobby that we share, and he loves like political like campaign election memorabilia. So I immediately thought of him when I saw these guys. How much shelf space do I have? 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 My little sister Caitlin collects salt and pepper shakers, so I about had a heart attack when I saw all these, and I sent this to her as fast as my fingers could. I'm gonna just rapid fire off a few different particular ones of interest. We have Mormon on the toilet. We have skulls and casket. We have jelly bean shaped Ronald Reagan. Comment if you think Ronald Reagan is salt or pepper. We have Christmas pig. We have very sleepy owl. We have dogs with muddy feet. Spiders that look like those Studio Ghibli wall sprites or whatever they are. Frogs with really big lip injections, squirrel holding nuts, seals that look like beagles, chicken in cowboy hat, Godzilla, and we have a bingo square. Snoopy pulling a Christmas tree counts as cartoon character forced to celebrate one holiday for all eternity. Snoopy will never have a chance to put the tree down and enjoy other aspects of life. Okay, and we have the NASCAR shrine here. Initially, I was a little concerned that this would all be autographed memorabilia of the same NASCAR driver, and to me that wouldn't count as a shrine because that would just be stuff from one person. But because this appears to be different drivers, I'm going to count this as a NASCAR shrine to multiple people. Story time. So years ago, when Prince William and Princess Catherine were engaged to be wed, Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, was wanting some attention, right? He was having that little sibling syndrome where he needed to be seen, so he co-opted a NASA space shuttle and tried to fly it to Venus, and that's why he's in the spacesuit in this photo. This is a picture from after that event when the American National Guard talked him down over the radio, right? Like they communicated with him and said, hey, look, Harry, we get it. You're trying to have a moment. You're acting out, but land the spaceship safely, okay? Don't go to Venus, and we will give you a promotional hat. You know, everybody loves hats. And what's your favorite drink? What's a snack or a drink that you love? Mountain Dew, got it. We got a fresh cold bottle. You can get it the moment you walk off the ship. We'll let you shake it up like a sippy cup full of fun, and we'll even throw in some popcorn. We'll have people throw it at you so you feel like you're being celebrated. And that's how we avoided disaster. Can you imagine if millions of dollars were lost in media coverage of Kate Middleton's wedding? So really glad that this moment was captured in time and we have this photo to commemorate it. I'm trying to think of why Harry Styles, or what did I say? Prince Harry is standing in front of a grandfather clock next to some sort of country singer, I guess. I don't know. What would have prompted this? It looks like they're at some like sporting event or race But I don't know. I guess maybe he like stole the grandfather clock from this woman, and the only way she was able to get it back was bribing him with another hat. He's got a Bank of America hat. Maybe Bank of America sponsored the hostage negotiation, and this is the only way this woman could have gotten her antique back. And I don't know who the heck this guy is, but he definitely looks like he's part of the Sea Org, and he's gonna like yell at me for not paying for another auditing session or something. I'm not even a tea drinker, but I am so loving these teapots. It's making me think of stuff that Birdie would enjoy. And y'all, I am just floored by this store. This is the best thrift slash antique slash whatever shop I've been to in a long time. They have a huge record selection here, and I came across this Waylon Jennings album cover, and it's actually really creepy how much he looks like somebody I dated in the past. So, hey Zach, this could be a look for you. I don't know that this has ever happened to a 31-year-old woman in 2004, besides just myself, but I almost bought this Tennessee Ernie Ford album because I love his voice, but then I got home and realized I already had one. Oops! And we've got another bingo square. I am going to count this as a could have mistaken him for John Denver album. I mean, obviously this guy's not John Denver when you like look closely enough, but I think that there's enough of a vibe similarity there and like the era looks similar that I think it should count. I could see this being a John Denver kind of ripoff. Y'all, I am a sucker for local history, and it does not have to be local to my town. It's local to any town in Texas. Small-time Texas history fascinates me. Blinn College is the community junior college in the Bryan College Station area, so a lot of people go here that don't go to Texas A&M. And I love stuff like this, because even though I don't have any connection to Blinn College, like, seeing stuff like this is probably the only one of these in existence. I mean, maybe a couple people in the world have these stuff somewhere at home in their attic, but like, think about it. This may be lost to time. If these get damaged or nobody buys them, the sounds recorded on here may be just completely lost forever in the void. And I'm not going to buy them because I can't be a hoarder, but I just love stuff like this. I love little independent musical recordings like CDs and vinyls especially. Okay, a few more flips of the records and we have another weird John Denver knockoff. The hair is a little closer to the actual John Denver. Oh my goodness, I really want this Anne Murray album, but I don't need to buy it. I don't need it. So this is really strange. There's a bunch of records in one bin that have like the song titles typed up on a typewriter on a loose piece of paper and then like taped onto the album cover. And obviously that first one that I showed you had like a pirate eye patch drawn on the front. So I don't understand what happened here. Why would you need to write the songs on here? Because they're gonna be in the back of the album. I don't understand. Y'all, I am going to poop my pants. I am freaking over the moon about this. I didn't buy it. I wanted to. So this is not only a piece of kind of Texas small-time local history, but it is Texas journalism history. I love anything to do with journalism history. This is, I believe, a language course on record. So you basically put the vinyl on your turntable and it looks like this has Spanish language lessons on it, but it is specifically from the Houston Post newspaper, which I'm not actually sure if the Houston Post is still around. It may just be the Chronicle, or the Chronicle could have changed names. But this is just so cool. I guess you maybe ordered this through the newspaper, like you mailed in a check or something. I may come back for this, but this is just so cool. Again, does anything like this still exist out there? Is this the last surviving one of these? These are fun little collectibles. These have some store names on them. I kind of wonder if this is all from a real place, like the Dixie Doo Shoe Company or this little pet shop. I don't know. This is cute. I like these. We got some more political campaign buttons, stuff that my dad likes to collect. And I think we got some old Zippo lighters and some belt buckles. I have never heard of these before, the mood dragons, but these are absolutely cute. I bet Jenny Nicholson on YouTube would love these. The boots and the clothes and shoes are so well organized. This is wild. Look how nicely the jeans are folded and how nicely they're sorted. This is just really interesting for a reseller. For those of you that might have argued I went to an antique store and not a real thrift store, I would like to present to you with Exhibit A. I'm very much coveting this Hamtaro VHS. I know this is cliche to say, but 90s kids nostalgia. If you were born in 1992 like me and you're looking at what I'm looking at, you're just vibrating right now. I don't recognize this William the operatic whale, but I do remember Lambert the sheepish lion, and there's a special place in my heart for him. I got super excited when I found this VHS, like a genuine goosebump level of adrenaline, and I have to explain why. Pour one out for Hastings, by the way. So I am a chronically online woman, and that means I have a constant rotation of YouTubers and YouTube videos playing in my head when I interact with the world around me. And so finding this, I was immediately reminded of one of my favorite YouTubers, Phelan Porteous, who reviews kind of obscure little cartoons from like the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. And Noelle is a Christmas cartoon that he's touched on, and I've probably watched that video 2, 3, 4 dozen times. But I remembered this that he said.
Noelle is a mostly forgotten Christmas special from 1992. To date, it's never gotten a DVD release, and its only VHS release seems to not have been run for super long, as the few copies I've seen of it online are asking $40 to $50 for this silly thing.
So yeah, this is only $5, so you're coming home with me. I can't decide what I'm gonna do with it, but I can't just leave Noelle here. So $60 is definitely pricey for a Barbie, but when you see why, I totally understand the price tag. This is a collectible, promotional, like Pizza Hut Barbie, and I absolutely love it. This is peak American consumerism marketing schlock, and I want it so badly. If you are like me and you're not naturally a sports fan, maybe you support teams to support your loved ones who like those teams, listen up. There's no greater joy in this world than finding old, like, 1970s trivia from your loved one's favorite team and reading them out random trivia questions like, what was the record, batting average of Glenton Magoo Goober of your university in 1972? How many passes did Billy Bob Boogle throw? And watching the look on your partner's face when they can't answer it, but you hold that knowledge in your hands, it is so sweet and righteous. There's some truly just beautiful African art, or at least African styled art. I can't attest to whether this actually comes from an African country, but it is genuinely, I feel like I would see this in a museum. It is that gorgeous. I can't believe this is at a thrift store. This is so sweet. Somebody was drawing a flower in between a book here in the book section. I wonder how old this is. That's really neat. I wonder what special occasion it was from. Maybe a wedding or something, or a Valentine's Day. I think that is so neat. I love finding stuff like this. Here's more of that same artist, and y'all, I am living for this, living for it. I'm not a UT fan whatsoever, but I love this art. So this is why we can't have AI, because artists like this are going to be put out of work, and it is a shame. So here's the business card for this place. If you guys are ever in this part of Texas, you absolutely have to come by. Please support this store. And here's our bingo card after Hagglers. It looks like we're getting close to a bingo, but not quite there yet. I realized too when editing this video that in every one of these bingo card shots, you're going to have that loose little X up there. He's just going to be our extra third wheel today. That truly is a combo of thrift and antique, because you've got the shampoo bottles, like half-empty shampoo bottles for sale, and like old remotes to TVs that probably don't exist anymore. But then you've got this very intricate, expensive, old-looking art and sculptures and artifacts. It's Oh, chef's kiss. I'm only surprised that they didn't have Precious Moments figures, because they had every other kind of collectible. They had those painted horse statues that are really popular here in Texas. Very surprised, but I just could never expect that that's what I was going to find in there. We're in a a trailer park. We're right next to, here, let me turn the camera around. This whole area is just under construction, and over here is like one of those places where I can't show you very easily, where you just like smash stuff, you know, where you pay to go in and break stuff. And we're out in the county. We're not in like town. We're not in downtown Bryan. So it's just this true hidden gem out in the middle of the countryside. Editing Rebecca here. Well, that does it for part 1 of our thrifting video. Originally, I wasn't going to break up this video, but I imagined this would take a lot less time, and it turns out this is going to be a couple hours of content once again. So I'm going to save part 2 for a couple weeks from now. Now, if y'all really like this video and I get some good traction on it and some subscribers and likes, I think that could probably motivate me to fast track part 2, but we'll just see what happens. But I'm excited for it. We got some twists and turns coming up, and I can't thank y'all enough. The few folks I have now who are here supporting me, I'm having so much fun making these videos. And actually, I would love some advice from y'all. I am just struggling with the audio for these, especially recording YouTube videos and music. Trying to do that through my computer is very hard, even with OBS or with my own screen recording device through my MacBook. I'm having a hard time recording stuff. So if any of y'all have any suggestions, if any of you guys are good at audio editing and have some tips on how I can record external videos and music that's not just literally using my internal mic on my computer, I would really appreciate that, because I really want to just get better and grow and improve the quality of things that I'm putting out. So anyway, look forward to seeing y'all again in just a couple weeks. Bye-bye.